Welcome back. Over 100,000 applications were submitted on the first day of Gauteng's online school registration portal. Parents for grades 1 and 8 have a month to apply for 2023 school admissions. The department set up 48 walk-in centres to help those without internet access. Let's get an update from ENCA reporter Obile Madlala. Obile, difficult process for parents. A lot of parents getting online as soon as that system opened. I can only imagine that the system must have been flooded. How did the first day go?
Well, there was a countdown to the 8 o'clock and it looked like everything was going perfect until about 30 minutes later when everything just started not working properly. And that became a bit of a nightmare. I mean, you could see from the MEC who was there already, he was on different calls. You could see everybody calling. You could see the frustration. But essentially what was happening is that Google Maps, from our understanding, is that they restricted them having received so many at the same time. I mean, from what they were saying, it's about 6,000 people that were going in, and they had a certain amount of number that was supposed to be kept. And of course, that restricted them. We know that in the beginning, they said they wanted about 40,000 people that they were going to help in an hour. And that means that it needed to be restricted a bit, so it took much longer to get to that goal. But from where we were standing, we could see that the MEC was saying that there is some form of assistance. We saw the change as well. We could see from the time when they were frustrated to the time where things were sort of easing down. But of course, that meant that for parents that were going online, this was a nightmare. I mean, they had taken their time. They needed some assistance. Now imagine if you're by yourself and you're not with the MEC and you can't see what's happening. So clearly some frustration. And as a result, you can see that from the DA as well, they were coming out to say that they received numerous calls from worried parents saying that this shouldn't be happening. I mean, we saw the frustration when it happened in Pretoria last year in the districts, where parents were also saying that they're worried about the location where their kids were taken to. So this was quite concerning for many, and so they started reaching out. And now DA just saying that there needs to be a way to ensure that this doesn't happen again, and using current location is the only answer to this. And of course, the MEC, though, managed to work it out, and he just apologized to parents, saying that this was not supposed to happen. He understands the frustrations, and he was, of course, apologizing to them. Let's listen into the MEC as he explains.
No. Firstly, I want to apologize to parents. I'm told the system of GPS, which need to locate schools and also need to locate the addresses, was overwhelmed and couldn't. So our technician have just resolved it. So the application are starting to trickle in. I really want to apologize for that, but we're back on track. We'll just have to find a way of ensuring the entire backlog is cleared up.
Well, up to so far, we have registered over 100,000, which is quite exciting. But we really need to acknowledge the fact that, yes, we started on a bumpy ride, but we've been interacting with all our, walk-in centers, different districts. They are moving now. We are actually cruising, and we are quite happy about the process up to so far. Though we need to acknowledge that, yes, indeed, we started on a bumpy ride, and we really need to echo our sentiment that we really apologize for what happened this morning to all parents and to all our guardians.
Obile, this is understandably a very emotional process for parents. Education of their children is something that they absolutely do not want to compromise on. Quality of education, also quality of life in terms of how close or where the quality schools are within their area. A lot of competition for parents trying to get in there first. So you can understand, parents' frustration around the system not working like it would do. What was their response?
Well, two things, Anli. There's a location bit and there's also the internet bit. Now, the first part is that you find that there are areas that are remote, that don't have access to Wi-Fi and internet. So a lot of parents have had to line up into these walk-in centers to get some assistance. But if you don't have the information, it becomes very difficult. So I imagine more parents are still yet to come. The first day had a lot of numbers. We were in Gauteng. We saw quite a number of people coming in, a lot of them talking about the fact that they're not technologically savvy. And so this does assist them, that they can have officials that they can ask from, get some help and be assisted and essentially get these schools. schools. Some of them that were there got the schools that they were hoping for. I mean, of course, they're yet to understand or learn more whether their children are going to be there, but they've got an option of 5 schools, which they applied to. They got exactly that. Now, there were some parents also who were concerned about the location. Now, the location becomes very important because some parents were closer to certain areas and they want their children to be there. Others will basically live in a certain area and they want their children to be there. Now, what they were talking about is that it's very important that they are able to access their kids. Now, there's a 30-kilometer radius where you're able to apply to. Now, that becomes a major sore thumb for many parents because that restricts them. One lady was speaking about the fact that the area where she is, children are taught in a language that she cannot understand. She's talking about the fact that she did English and Afrikaans. She just wants her child to be able to do Afrikaans so she can help assist with homework, but she's limited in this case. So it's quite frustrating, but I mean, there were others who were quite happy, very happy with their decisions. Others were still working around it. But let's listen in more to some parents.
I'm hoping that the process runs smoothly because I heard from previous people that registered that it was a hassle.
Can they please extend it to other areas, not just Gauteng? Because now, particularly my issue, I did both English and Afrikaans, and now my daughter with Tswana. And for now, it's an issue because I can see Tswana.
I just hope that we all get help and get registered.
It's the first time. Because it's the first time, you know.
Hama is number 1. The number 1 school in Gauteng.
So now we get government. Lady special needs. Aba follow up and aba latest senior carona. Ba relate. Aba esana fela only as baba na ba right baba.
So today we saw almost a mad rush of parents trying to get online, going to these centres. But for a lot of parents who were working today, who might not have been able to take time off work to go to these centres or to take the time to sit if they have a device and do the whole process, should they be worried? I mean, let's just set people a little bit at ease as to how long they have to complete this process.
Well, we've got until the 19th of August to be able to complete this process. But I mean, what the MEC did say to us is that this process, I mean, it's one that is not easy for starters, but there's a lot of areas which have been seen to have more traffic than others. So what they're doing is the Department of Education in Gauteng, they've poured in millions in these areas where they're able to create or build more classes so there's more pupils that can be taken in to those schools. So the mad rush is not something that they have to be worried about. But of course,
first come, first served.
It's a case of they will get the placement when it's right. So it doesn't have to be mad rush, but it's definitely the fact that the MEC was saying that no child will be turned away. So every child will get the space. And of course, I hope, Anli, we don't sit here and be worried about what was happening, what we saw happening last year in Pretoria, where the parents had to stand outside the district. So hopefully it doesn't get there, because like what the MEC was saying is that the system is new and improved. So hopefully it does actually accommodate everyone, as they said.
Excellent. Thank you very much. That was our reporter, Kobile Matlala, giving us an update on school admissions for 2023.